We're joined by Arizona head coach Jay Johnson. Sean Fagan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations on winning the Tucson Regional. And a lot of it I want to talk about first is with Dante Williams, how this today, when he got that walk in the first inning, was the 44th straight game that he has reached base safely. So just wondering as a coach, like, what is it like to just be coaching someone that many are considering actually right now one of, if not the best center fielders in the game?
Yeah, he's special. I really, and it's not to take away anything from, I think Aaron Zavala won the award, or Jacob Berry, who I think also could have or should have won the award for Pac-12 Player of the Year. But you could have made a strong argument that Dante was the most valuable player in the Pac-12 this year, and his contribution on both sides of the ball has really—he's playing to this vision that I had when we brought him here. And he's worked hard. He's a good kid. He does the right things off the field, and is a great leader for our team, both in actions and in his words.
And then, Coach, today, especially on defense, as to open the game in the second inning, back-to-back inning-ending double plays, and another big one later in the fifth. I'm just wondering if you could speak to a bit about not only the defense, but also the pitching as well, because everything just seemed to be clicking so well tonight, and everybody seemed to be communicating so well. Do you feel that everything had been fixed at the right time, whereas before, earlier in the year, defense was struggling, and now it just how it all came together?
Well, I definitely think we've improved. I actually believe we're a better defensive team than our numbers have shown. We have like 3 games that kind of got off the rails a little bit and where we made 4 or 5 errors. And I think that really negatively affected our fielding percentage. But I mean, just look at the plays that Kobe made tonight at second base. Nick's been solid at short. When we got Nick at short and Tony at third, that really solidified our infield. Dante doing his thing in center, and we're asking a lot of Daniel. We're asking him to be a middle of the order hitter and catch every pitch of every inning of every game. And all of those guys have handled those responsibilities well. And relative to the pitching, I mean, this was my kind of ball, this weekend. Using 5 or 6 guys on Friday night, and then 5 or 6 guys today, and then you get a standout performance by Garrett in the middle of it. I couldn't be happier with how that side of the game went this weekend. And to get to Omaha, you have to be able to do that. There's no two ways about it. We've looked into some statistics of where you need to be in terms of being ranked nationally in terms of fielding percentage and ERA. We're kind of maybe an outlier team because we're so good offensively, but I'm really proud of that side of the ball. This was a really hard game tonight. I mean, it was a really, really hard game tonight. There was no two ways about it, and we couldn't have won if each of those guys out of the bullpen didn't come in and do what they did. And Chandler, I thought, was outstanding. I mean, he showed great poise, dealt with having traffic every inning, kept pounding the zone, was down in the zone, and got those pitches to get those double plays. That was a great performance by him.
Shotgun Spratling, you're next.
Yeah, Jay, kind of building off that, we knew the offense was going to be there. A lot of the year was the pitching and defense that we had question marks about. How have you guys been able to make strides on the pitching side? And I'm sure that helps play up the defense as well.
Well, it's an everyday working culture here. It's about improvement on a daily basis. Michael will make fun of me because I'll talk about improving 1% every day, and if you do that over a long period of time, you'll transform your team in any way possible. And when I think about this team, and I really believed we were going to be good this year, and the pitching is a couple things. Number one is we have depth. I mean, we have a lot of depth. I mean, it is hard to prepare for our entire staff because there's left, there's right, there's velocity, there's change ups, there's real out pitch breaking balls. So we can really match up at a high level. And I'm really pleased with those guys, and it's made the starters' job easier. So when they throw strikes and pitch with good tempo, offense does it things. We can really put those guys in positions to be successful, and they have been. And it's kind of like if we can play from the front, you like our chances, especially it's great to see Preston get back in the mix tonight and get that done at a high level. There's just so many guys that we can go to. I mean, we didn't even pitch Quinn Flanagan this week, and I think he's one of our best pitchers. I mean, honestly, and so that's just an example. Austin Smith is one of our best pitchers, and he didn't even pitch this weekend. So I'm really pleased with those guys, and it's been a few-year effort with a lot of scholarship money going to that group, and it's paid off.
And then in the ninth inning, it looked like you walked down the rail and gave him some instructions, a little bit of a subdued celebration after the game.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, we're going to celebrate this. I mean, this is a home regional championship. And I think Stanford won tonight. I haven't had a chance to check in on everything. Okay, well they didn't. So as of today, um, Arizona and Oregon State are the only two programs to win multiple regionals in the last 5 years, and I'm really really proud of that. And so we're going to celebrate this victory tonight, and you're going to have no problem getting my attention, my staff's attention, or our players' attention for the next opportunity next weekend.
Next up, Michael Lev.
You alluded to this a little bit earlier, but how big of an advantage did it turn out to be to have a well-rested bullpen so you could match up as you wanted to throughout the course of the game?
It was a big deal. We were, and I shared this with you guys last weekend in that Dixie State series. We were borderline gassed. I mean, physically and mentally. And if you go back the previous 3 weekends, to win 2 out of 3 at Oregon State, to win the Pac-12 championship, we had a sweep of Washington. One was a 17-16 game where we had to use a lot of guys. Then, we had to beat Tyson Guerrero. The weekend before that, hard-fought battle at Stanford. And so, I mean, we were gassed last weekend. And so I'm proud of the team for winning 2 out of 3 in that series, as crazy as that might sound. But we got that extra day this week, then what's coming. And this is a great group of guys where they can, I don't want to say they turn it on, but they know when to step it up. And this week of practice was the best week of practice we've had since January, when I'm occupying as much of their time as I possibly can. We had a great week of preparation. We deserved this victory this weekend. And there was no doubt in my mind we were going to play well, because everything leading into it on the staff's perspective and the players' perspective was pointing towards us having success. So I'm proud of our program for everything they did this week.
Even though he got into a game last weekend, did you feel like Preston was maybe still kicking off the rust a little bit out there tonight?
Maybe a better question for him. I mean, I probably think it was probably harder on Daniel. I mean, that pitch is so special and has so much action on it. He hadn't seen that, but I think he only threw like 9 or 10 pitches last weekend, threw a lot of strikes and was out of the inning quickly. So probably a bigger challenge for him, in terms of having to catch him. But I was really pleased. And I mean, he had some big outs there. I mean, he had 3-1 to strike out, 3-1 to get in the line out, fly out, whatever you want to call it. Great poise. And I mean, that's a tying run on second base right there. And one of their 2 best hitters. I mean, you could go 1A or 1B with Santa Barbara, and to get that punch out to in the 7th was a big deal.
Runs were hard to come by in these 2 games against UC Santa Barbara, no matter who they had out on the mound. But even though you maybe weren't at your very best offensively tonight, there were a couple of 0-2 hits that were big. One by Bullard before Holgate's home run, and then also McClary there in the 8th inning. Is that just an example of stick-to-itiveness, determination? How would you describe those 2 particular at-bats?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking down, and it's great to say, hey, it wasn't your best night, and we're 10 for 32. I'm not a math major, but that's still over a 300 batting average. There's 5 walks on the board. And then the 2-out hitting of what you're alluding to was golden. And that's actually what we call them. 2-out RBIs are golden. And so I'm really proud of those at-bats. Tanner had a big one. I don't think that was with 2 strikes. It was with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. Stayed on a ball. Nick had a sac fly in that 2-run inning. His hit in the 9th was huge and outstanding. Ryan, it's one of those things, like, you kind of see that at bat coming all week, and he had an outstanding tournament in terms of the quality at bats that he put together for us. It might have flown under the radar until that big home run tonight, but Ryan's a big reason why we won this weekend.
And we'll finish up with Brian Peterson.
So Southern Miss and Ole Miss will be playing 10 o'clock your time tomorrow. I'm sure, do you consider that an advantage that you get to watch the team specifically? And though they may not use the same pitchers and all that, but a chance to watch it live rather than just have to look at it after the fact?
Oh, I'll be watching it for sure, but we go a lot deeper than the one game. I do think you get a pulse of the game as it's happening kind of in real time, and we're playing all the time during these other games. So sometimes, at least with our opponents, Pac-12, we're kind of all on a similar schedule. So I'm looking forward to it. But, we'll be in the weeds, tomorrow once that game's over with, and doing what we need to do to set the course for a good weekend of preparation. And like I said, my hat's off to the players and to the staff this week. They killed it in terms of getting ready to play. This weekend wasn't an accident.
And when you were talking on TV after the game, you kind of stopped to talk to the crowd about getting everyone there and bringing their friends next week. How important will that be? And what do you think can be done to ensure that you get even more people coming?
Well, you guys have a lot of people that follow you, so you can get the word out when that schedule is set of what game times are, how to find tickets, all of those kinds of things. But this was fun. There was a couple times over the last couple of days I just kind of looked up, and this is the vision, of when I came here, of hosting a regional, getting this fan base excited and energized. I think we've done a great job of that. We've won almost 80% of our home games here. The fans, the crowd, all of that is a really, really big part of that. And I'm proud of our players and our program, and I think they probably are tonight too. And let's want to keep it going with them next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Got it. Drive safe, shotgun. Okay. Get that coffee if you need to.
We're now joined by Arizona's Ryan Holgate. Raise your hands. Questions for Ryan? Start with Sean Fagan.
So Ryan, how good did it feel to hit that home run, knowing that your team was sort of struggling to get the bat on the ball, and also being able to pad the lead with everyone else being able to hold it down on defense?
It was awesome. It definitely wasn't as cool as winning this regional, but I was glad that everybody on the team was sticking with the plan, and we were all just doing what we do and what we work on every day at practice, and kind of just putting a good team effort into put some good wins together.
And then, since your team is the higher seed, regardless of the results tomorrow of the Southern Miss Ole Miss game, you will host the Super Regionals. Is this something that sort of motivates your team early on in the season, instead of like with series, once you take 2 games, wanting to get that third game, knowing that game and many could pay off at the end of the year to get you to this high of a seed, knowing that you could then host the Super Regionals rather than playing on the road somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole team just pumped up that we get to stay here in Tucson because we love our fan base. Our fan base has been awesome, and yeah, they've had a great showing. Just a lot of people coming out and a lot of support, and that's something that will always fire us up.
Michael Lev, you're next.
No dog pile at the end of this game. It seemed like a sort of a relatively muted celebration, almost like you guys expected to win. Did you expect to win this weekend?
I feel like every game we go into, we expect to win, but I think there's no dog pile because we still got a long ways to go. We are working our way, and we worked our way into the Super Regional, so there's still a lot more business that needs to be taken care of, and we're just going to keep pushing forward and just have a good week of practice.
How enjoyable was it to douse Coach Johnson with water there at the end?
It's always awesome to give Coach Johnson a squirt. We like to get him wet.
Right. So he said you had a lot of quality at bats this weekend. How did you feel coming into this weekend? And did you have any sort of like a heightened sense of focus or concentration, just kind of knowing what the stakes were?
No, I was just sticking with the same plan that me and all my teammates have had the whole year, which is just sticking to our approach, staying within, and not trying to do too much.
Sure. What did you think of the way that Chandler Murphy kind of worked in and around trouble?
Yeah, Chandler's been awesome for us. I thought he had a great night. He definitely got the other team to hit a lot of balls low, which helped our infield work, and he definitely put out a good result for us. So we're super proud of him, and also the rest of the staff. We thought, Gil obviously did well, Dawson did well, Preston did well, Vince did well, Randy did well, everybody that threw for us did well. So overall, it was just a great day for the staff, and we're super proud of our guys.
Sure. How big of an advantage is it for you guys when you have both Preston and Vince available for the back end?
Oh, it's awesome. I think that both of them always come out and you know what you're going to get. They're very consistent. They get the job done, and they stick with their plan, and no situation's ever too big for them.
Sure. It felt like there was a lot of tension in the air tonight, obviously a lot of stakes. Do you feel that sense at all when you're out on the field?
Not really. I feel like we're just a really focused team, and we just kind of stick to the plan and kind of just put our heads down and play as hard as we can like it's our last game.
Any other questions for Ryan? Shotgun Spratling, go ahead.
Ryan, does it ever feel like there's a sense of kind of maybe even growing as the game progresses that you guys are about to get a big blast? I mean, just it felt like the inning before your home run and kind of going into it, it's like someone's about to hit one.
Yeah, I feel like 1 through 9 or anybody in the back end of our lineup that comes in to pinch it, it's always a threat. So I feel like at all times we're kind of always waiting for something to happen because something usually does with this offense. So um, yeah, it's just whenever we stick with our plan and just keep moving along with the game, it just starts to happen.
What makes this offense so good?
I think just our plan in general and just how hard we work on it. We really emphasize it at practice. We had a really big fall. We worked on everything that we needed to work on, and we just have a lot of disciplined players. Nobody's trying to do too much. Nobody's trying to win the game on their own. It's just a big team effort, and it's been very successful for us this season.
Yeah, a lot of players, Jay, has talked about the plan. Can you synthesize that down into a couple sentences as just the offensive plan in general?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like I said before about nobody's trying to do it on their own. It kind of causes people to lay off of a lot of balls and kind of just work the counts, get pitchers on the other team deep in their pitch count, and we just get into the bullpen and we just start taking action from there. And it's just a really good disciplined team with our bats in general.
All right. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we're joined finally with Preston Price. If you have any questions for Preston, please raise your hand. Sean Fagan, go ahead.
So, Preston, how far would you say that this bullpen has come where early on in the season, 5 through 8 was where the team struggled a bit with relieving, and now it just seems as if this is a completely different lineup where there's just shutdown play throughout every inning, no matter who's pitching?
It's huge. The jump that we've made from last year and the years previous to when I was here, I feel that the work that Nate Yeske has us do, Cameron Ming, everybody, and we have a very knowledgeable staff. Everybody knows about pitching. Everybody knows everything. But the leaps that we've made are extremely impressive to watch.
And then even though these games are, really serious and everyone counts, it seems as if a lot of the times, though, that the pitching staff is having more fun than you guys were early on, where struggles seem to frustrate the team more, but now you all just seem locked in. Would you say that the pitching staff is having more fun than you were earlier on?
Yeah, I'd say that at the beginning of the season, we were trying to figure out our identity and all that. But now that we're kind of getting more comfortable with everybody and everybody pulls for everybody, and just having that ultimate confidence in each other, it's a lot more fun, and it just keeps us close as possible.
And now that you've gone through one regional, you will host super regionals, regardless of who wins tomorrow's game. How exciting is it to know that you're now familiar? Of course, you're familiar with their home field, but now you've played a regional, you've played against teams you haven't played a lot so much. How much better is it to feel that now that you're going to go up against the super regionals, but you will be hosting them as well?
It's awesome. I mean, our atmosphere here is unbelievable. It's always fun playing here, and I know the guys are fired up about it, and so am I. But having that, just the home field advantage and all of that is just we're extremely blessed to have that.
Next up, Michael Lev.
Jay was talking about his vision for the program, and I think he sort of alluded to the idea that he pictured something like this happening, at some point in time. Is this kind of what you pictured when you first came to Arizona, winning a regional at your home field?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this school is a baseball school, and I know that with the coaches that we have, there's no doubt that we shouldn't be in a regional every year.
Sure. How valuable was it for you to get out on the mound last week against Dixie State, just to maybe kind of shake the rust off a little bit?
It was actually very helpful just to get out there and see live hitters again and just get back on the mound and get more comfortable with it. So when times like this come, I'm better prepared.
How do you feel physically right now?
Really well.
Really well. What was your mindset or mentality coming into that situation there in the 7th inning?
Get the out, get as many outs as possible, and just save the arms like Garrett did yesterday for us.
Sure. Do you think the prior experiences you had this season with runners on base helped you in that situation out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
How so?
Just getting that comfortability, like I said, like being on our home mound and all that, but just like visiting it in my head and like replaying it over and over again and just seeing myself do it, it just didn't like it canceled out all the surprises. So I just was extremely prepared for it.
Shotgun Spratling, go ahead.
Preston, Jay talked about how much more depth the staff has as a whole. Now, where can you see that the most?
I mean, I don't see any area that lacks any strength. Our starters are insanely good. Middle relief guys, we don't really have titles for anybody except for the starters, but just having the guys that we do out of our bullpen and having the arms that we do, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to not be comfortable seeing who's coming out of the pen.
Is that how different is that than a couple of years ago?
Extremely different. I feel that we still have the talent, but I don't think that we had the same mindset that we do this year and the same like go get it attitude and just pulling for each other. I felt that a couple years ago. It wasn't as tight as a unit, but this year I feel like everybody's just there for each other.
And this part of it plays into that as well. But can you describe the impact that Yeski's had on the pitching staff?
It's night and day. He knows everything about pitching. Everybody knows that he knows that. That's why everybody loves to pick his brain and just see what they can do to get better.
And we'll finish up with Michael Lev.
What impressed you the most about Chandler Murphy's performance tonight?
I think that he's made a lot of strides. He's always had that bulldog mentality, and I think that him just commanding the outside corner today and just pounding that spot just really played for him. And he's got great stuff. So I'm not worried about his stuff and his pitches and all of that, but him just pounding the zone and just taking charge and getting us going. It was awesome.
Sure. I know that you and Vince have talked about how you don't really care which one of you like works the 8th or works the 9th, but is it just kind of cool to, to pass the ball to him and just kind of knowing that he's your kind of like your tag team partner, your classmate, that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Vince is awesome. He's one of the best closers in college baseball, and just seeing him come out behind me, it's just, I feel very comfortable with it.
All right. Thank you, Preston.